I love great conversations. Hi, my name is Angel Jones. Thank you for joining me on 12-Minute Convos, where I help you create a brand of your own unique real self. Listen in as I have conversations with amazing people from all over the world. Good night, Susan Case. How are you going on this wonderful, beautiful night?
Oh, it's lovely. It's couldn't be better.
Wonderful.
We have we have a lovely sunset, and my family's around, and I just couldn't be happier.
Love it. Well, tell me, what part of the world are you in right now? Tell us.
I am actually in the Bay Area, outside a little bit east of San Francisco. Kind of, you'll notice from my voice the smoky kind of tinge to it. I'm right in between San Francisco and the Napa Valley, which currently is having a pretty bad fire. So my daughter's been off of school for 2 days because of the smoke in
Wow.
the air, and yeah, I'm praying for those people. Lots of them friends, and just a beautiful place. Our Napa Valley wine country is it's irreplaceable, and I feel really horrible about it.
Hmm. I'm sure all will be well. I'm sure of that. I
Yes,
hope all will
yes.
be well. Well, Susan, do tell me, which of your talents is responsible for us meeting?
Well, I think probably it would be my voice. Not my literal voice that you hear now, but my just my outlook on life, and I think my ability to kind of cheerlead for people, or to try and create a critical thinking in other people, maybe on social media and that sort of thing. I do feel like I have an empathetic heart, and that is what drives me. So I think you probably noticed that, just in and I was very pleased to find you. Thank you.
You're welcome. Well, this is going to be fun. So, who did you learn this from?
I learned this from my father first. He's my hero. Quite a wonderful man. He's 73. Still, he's actually helping with my mom raising three new kids from my sister, and he's tireless. And through I was the oldest of four daughters growing up. We moved all over. I was born in Alaska. We lived Virginia, Mississippi, everywhere. He was at first he was in the Air Force, and then he became a civil engineer. But he wherever we went, even though we didn't have much money, I didn't know it. I didn't care. But he really always reached out to people who had even less than us, or didn't really know their direction or value, and just showed them love no matter what. And things have I kind of am a big believer in fate, and that things happen for a reason. And often the people brought into our lives when I was a child came around, they would come around with their problems, and no matter what ours were at the time, my dad always helped, my mother as well. She's just as good, but my dad always dropped everything to help others, and he really taught me about putting yourself in someone else's shoes, showing love in a way that is supposed to be true love, not really unconditional love, where nothing else is important. Really, you really don't judge, you just love. And sometimes you're going to get hurt, and sometimes people won't pay you back or whatever, but you don't ever stop loving, and you don't ever stop giving.
Hmm. Amazing. Wow.
Yes, right.
Yeah.
Pretty good guy.
Yeah.
I mean, seriously, he's just my hero.
I think what's fascinating is how good you've become because of how good he is.
Yes,
Because it seems as though you are definitely a disciple of his principles,
yes,
what he lives by.
yeah,
That's fascinating. Yeah.
yeah. It might be good for him too, like, just because in his life he's done some great things, but I think being a dad was, and now that I'm a mom, being a dad, knowing that you raised a daughter who does or embodies your philosophy, then I kind of and lives it and practices it. I think that is kind of the greatest success.
Yeah. Well, tell us what you bring to market, Susan. Like we got caught up there. Tell us what you
Oh,
do. Yeah,
absolutely.
please do.
My whole philosophy is you lead by your smile. And so throughout my life, I've kind of always been a bit of a leader, no matter what, if it's in, high school or with my sisters growing up, and I kind of break the ice, and then I also kind of I critically think through things, or I analyze things, not to like a where I get hung up on things, but I just kind of try and weigh the odds. But I really believe, and I know that I'm a leader, but I'm also a coach of leaders. So, or just a coach of the human race. I like to kind of get in there and let people see the goodness in them when maybe they're caught up in other things. So my profession, it's kind of strange. I've been pulled into quite a few things over my life. But really where I'm headed and what's coming full circle for me is to use my voice and my smile and my heart to get, and along with my, business acumen and my experience, in order to bring others to a better level.
Your huge business acumen and your huge experience is how I would describe it. You've done almost anything and everything in the business world, right? Like you're the supporter that supports, right?
For sure.
Amazing.
I've been very independent, but I've had mentors, and and I believe in mentoring others for sure. I've really learned by experience, and I've had university, but it wasn't in the field of business. But really, it taught me critical thinking, and it also taught me a lot about understanding of humanity and that sort of thing. So those, I think, are crucial skills.
What's the best place for us to connect with what you do? Again, amazing audience. Susan does almost all right. What's the best place for us to connect?
Right. For now, I would love to see you guys on my LinkedIn. I'm
Sweet.
I'm working on a podcast with that should be going live probably in a couple months. So I'm trying to get it right before I put it out there.
Okay.
But I would love if you'd hit me up on LinkedIn, which is LinkedIn, and I believe it's LinkedIn/Susan O'Toole.
Wonderful. Well, Susan, so let's go to this segment.
Yes,
This
sir.
is the fun part. Susan, let's switch gears for a moment and let me now invite
sir.
you into my time machine that is surrounded with beautiful, warm, blue Caribbean water.
Okay, I'm there. I'm there.
What is your earliest childhood memory?
My earliest is I was riding on my dad's shoulders in Alaska in the fall, and there were leaves everywhere, and I had this silly hoodie hat on, and he used to he's 6'2". I'm pretty tall as well, but at that point I wasn't. I was probably 1.5. And there was a moose, and which I don't think I've ever seen since. But I remember him just. I was the only daughter at that point, right? And so my father, I was his everything, and he'd flip me over, and he'd roll me down his body and flip me over, and we'd do. But riding on his shoulders, so I had this perspective of being 7 feet tall.
Wow.
That was insane, and it really did. It made me feel not only special, but it also kind of gave me what I think gave me my worldview.
Wow, I love
I can
that.
see. I had a perspective.
Yeah, that's amazing. What happened to the moose, though?
um, I'm I'm hoping it didn't turn into like a necklace or something. It's probably still there.
Oh, that's amazing.
Right.
Well, can I offer an interpretation to the thought picture you created in my mind?
Please.
I love the image of strength, seeing strength, but through collaboration.
Beautiful.
It's you on your father's shoulders being able to see this. But I think the moose probably looked at you all and said, okay, that's not a team to be reckoned with.
Right.
And you've definitely been or become a team builder. And you've seen the value in that, and as you continue to build teams, and that's fascinating.
Sir, that is incredible. That's a great observation that I don't think I'd have ever gotten there. That's very good. Thank you.
You're welcome. If we fast forward to when you were 12, what was your favorite song?
Without a doubt, Prince Controversy. 1981, baby. Oh my gosh. Oh, I was obsessed.
Yeah.
But I mean, I'm a music person all my whole entire life, but Prince Controversy, that was like it for me.
Yeah. It all connects, right? I mean, it is controversial being in the state that you're in, right? Being that team
Yes.
member. Yeah, it is controversial. It's good. It's
Yeah.
good. All right, Susan. Well, we've arrived at our destination, but before we get off of this time machine, there's a small declaration form. So it's yes or no, possibly a bit more. We're going to go quickly here. Susan, have you chosen someone to pass on your skills to?
Definitely. Well, first of all, it's everyone I come into touch with. Like I feel like I'm not only a lifetime learner, but a teacher. Like you know what I mean? Like whenever I come into contact with someone and I help change their worldview, their global view, their love for humanity, I kind of feel like it's everyone, just through my actions, through my through my genuine love and empathy for them as humans. But also, I have a son and a daughter that I could not be prouder of, and they are really they are really learning everything that I've taught them. In spite of the things they've been through, divorce and whatnot, they've really latched on to a spot of critical thinking, of global love, of we're all humans, and I couldn't be prouder. But yes, it might
Sweet.
be too long for 12 minutes.
You're good. You're good. You're good.
Stop now.
You're good. No, you said you were divorced. Are you married now?
I am. I actually did get remarried, and that's my husband Kevin, and he's phenomenal. He works in high tech doing CRM demos. He's also a musician, and we've both been dabbling in acting lately on TV and
Sweet.
stuff. So that's kind of fun.
Sweet. Do you believe in God?
I do. I fully believe in God, but I believe in a world God. I mean, I was brought up Christian, and I don't like to proselytize, but I completely believe that we're here for a purpose, that there's an afterlife, that we're forgiven, and that we're human. I love the, and I also believe that people in cultures, just because my degree's in linguistics, which is an extension of cultural and physical anthropology. So I really, from a scientific viewpoint, believe that we all, as cultures, began kind of worshiping or respecting the source of life, whatever it might be, and it all drives us to not have no rules. We all kind of need to respect one another, and that's where I want to just get it to a place of we can understand and respect a global God and worship that God in our own way without killing each other over this God.
Yeah.
I think that would make the God cry.
Mm.
I think when you add the human element, you sometimes get a little screwed up.
Well, tell me, do you have an inner circle of friends, Susan?
I do. I do. I've always been very social, and but then I kind of trim down people. I kind of now tend to keep one or two special people in my life in addition to family. So, but it doesn't mean I can't go into a room and talk to everyone as though I've known them forever.
I believe that.
Right.
Tell me, do you watch TV for more than 3 hours a day?
No, I mean I'll have it on sometimes. There's a few shows I watch, but usually I can't do anything for more than 3 hours a day. Right.
What about screen time? The phone and or the computer? Is it more than 8 or less than 8 hours a day?
Well, as far as having like your iPhone with you, that's pretty frequent. So I'm pretty accessible that way, but I usually am not seeking out other types of information from the internet unless I actually need it, or if I'm watching your podcast or something. Right, when I'm doing other things. So, and I listen to music on a phone a lot. But no, I would say probably I pop in and out for 15 minutes at a time, as maybe 4 or 5, 6 times a day, depending on what's going on in my life.
Okay. Wow. Well, Susan, after having 1,001 conversations in 3 months, I came up with a workbook, and the name of it is Yours, and it stands for Your Own Unique Real Self. Connected to that is your own unique real statement, your mission.
Yes.
If you were to share with us your own unique real statement that represents who you are, what would you say that is?
Well, first of all, one of my main things is we're all in this boat together. And whether it's corporate or going through tragedies and world traumas like, Hurricane Irma or the fires we're going through, we show the best of ourselves when we fight against something that's hurting our humanity. I wish that we could all be at that place all the time where we fight for one another and not against one another. I would really love that people could find their organic passion in their lives by like what moved them as a child, with that and minus out all the negative things that may have popped up as well, and really get back to where they are. And I think it takes time and effort at some point to really come full circle with what your true purpose is. I really think that everyone is as equal as the other, and we all have beautiful, beautiful things inside of us. And I would love that we all get to that point.
Love that. Fully endorse that.
And laugh. Smile, right? Smile. Enjoy arts and music and people and conversation, right?
You are amazing. Susan Case, my friend, this was a great pleasure. Thank you for being
It's
on.
my honor.
You're welcome. Thank you for being on 12 Minute Convos with Angel Jones.
Thank you so much. I'm so excited.
Thank you for being on 12 Minute Convos with Angel Jones. Stay tuned for more from our advertisers.
Diabetes is a mountain pandemic. It's a disease that's not acute but chronic. Similar to this rhyming method, I have simplified the definition, the signs and symptoms, and the complications of diabetes for both adults and children in my books, Poems for Patients, A Focus on Diabetes, and The ABCs of Diabetes for Children. These books are available on Amazon.com, and for more information, you can visit my website, poemsbyaj.com. That's poemsbyaj.com.